Renee, it's funny, the debate about the dole, or New Start, let's call it what it is, it's the dole. The debate about it has been running on now for nearly a week and a half, and, you know, the government's been a bit wrong-footed because a lot of the critics of the current policy not to increase, well, let's be clear, it is being increased by CPI every 6 months, but not to increase it in a significant way. A lot of the critics are coming from inside the coalition, so that's made it a bit tricky for the Morrison government. But finally, we see they're hitting back today with some facts about where people are on New Start and the number of people that are brought in, I guess, for doing the wrong thing. The relevant minister, Michaelia Cash, has put out some numbers that says nearly 4 in 5 of the 744,000 job-active participants had their payments suspended at least once in the past 12 months to the end of June. 1 in 12 job seekers racked up 10 or more suspensions, and one person had payments suspended 52 times. Now, John Howard always used to call it mutual obligation. You get money from the taxpayer because you're in a bind and you're unable to work or you can't get a job, and it's meant to be temporary. But for that, you have to commit to trying to find work and doing everything you can to be job ready. That's, I think, been the missing part of the debate, and the government's now decided it's going to fight back.
Yeah, it has been really flat-footed on this issue, and that's because there have been a number of people from their ranks who have spoken out, and a number of those people have been from the Nats. And the Nats obviously have regional communities where high unemployment, specifically youth unemployment, is quite high. And I think the other thing they failed to do is they failed to leap on this issue where state governments are standing in the way of building dams and infrastructure and telecommunications in a lot of these areas. And so not everyone can go, you know, travel around Australia looking for work, and that's not what the government's suggesting either. But the Nats are arguing, let's bring jobs to the regions, let's build more dams, let's build more infrastructure. And that they're not picking a fight with the states as well on this. They should be doing much more on this issue. And in relation to just the welfare generally and mutual obligation, what I don't understand is in Queensland, where we've had these professional protesters, they're young people, and we know they're on New Start because when they're charged, the court hears that they're actually on a welfare payment. I don't know how you meet your mutual obligation when you're protesting, when you're a professional protester who goes up to Dawson and then back down to Brisbane. I mean, how many jobs can you apply for when you're professionally protesting every day? I just don't know how that's possible.
Yeah, well, I'd love to see it cut off. John, I mean, there's a report today, a mayor of Warrnambool, down your way in Victoria, a coastal area, 1,000 jobs are going begging in that regional area because people won't work.
Yeah, look, I tend to think these things are pretty nuanced. I don't like the dole bludger terms. I think we moved past that probably 20 years ago. It doesn't surprise me.
Hang on, John, I have to jump in there. We moved past it because we made people work for the dole. Taxpayers then went with the system because I think they felt that people were doing what they needed to receive that benefit. I think we've swung back the other way. I think we're a bit soft on the old work for the dole. It isn't like it used to be, and I think that's where people are bucking up. This is where I don't think there's much support to increase New Start.
Well, actually, I reckon this is all about the government trying to spin their way through it. They released some figures that make unemployed people. I'm all for mutual obligation, but I think they're beating it up so we're not talking about robo-debt tonight, which is a failure. It's not working. So I think basically we're being spun to talk about this, and I actually think the dole bludging thing, I just hate it. I don't think it works. Warrnambool know the place really well. 1,000 jobs. Well, if they're there, I'm really surprised. I know that what's happening in regional Australia is that very much that the locals, they do find that I suppose the locals that have been there for generations, they prefer to drive air-conditioned tractors rather than shear sheep. So what's going on is that you're getting more immigrants coming in, immigrant communities that basically, the locals tell me, I'm a country person like you, Peter, they don't mind doing the hard work. So that's why you're getting more and more sort of ethnic communities. Like Conniva's an interesting place where they've got that lava duck factory, where you've got the Karen are in there. So I think, yes, no, there is an issue. Then basically the people that like doing the work, those jobs, tend to be immigrant communities. And I know Narracor, where I grew up...
Because we pay people to sit on their backside, mate. I'm going to be in Warrnambool on the weekend. It's my brother-in-law's 40th birthday. So I will... And they've got a dairy farm and they have a lot of foreign workers on their farm because they can't get people to work dairy farmer hours. But I will have a look at it and I'll report back next week.